Okay. Hi. Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi. My name is Lena, and this is a space where we talk about sex, relationships, bodies, pleasure, and all the weird, fascinating things our bodies do that nobody warned us about, like ever. And today's video, I honestly still can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but today's video is about having an orgasm at the gym. Yeah, at the gym, not in a locker room situation, not because someone was flirting with me, not because I was thinking about anything sexual, just exercise. Pure, innocent, trying to better myself exercise. And if your brain just went, wait, what? Same. Because when this first happened to me, I genuinely thought something was wrong. Like, I thought my body had glitched. But no, it turns out this is actually a thing. A real thing. It even has a name. But before we get into all of that, before the science, before the explanations, before I start throwing words at you like pelvic floor and core activation, I want to tell you the story. Because this didn't come from TikTok. It didn't come from a podcast. It came from my actual real-life experience. So, let's rewind. Way back, university days. Many, many years ago. Like, enough years ago that I don't want to say the number out loud. I was in university and I joined the campus gym with my best friend. And just to set the scene, I was not a gym girl. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what half the machines were for. I thought stretching was optional. I was just there because my friend was like, come on, it'll be fun. Which, lies. But anyway, we decided for some reason to join a HIIT class, high intensity interval training, which is basically just organized suffering. You're jumping, you're sweating, your heart rate is doing things you didn't know were possible, and this class was intense, like lights down, music blasting, instructor yelling motivational things that somehow made it worse. And by the end of the class, I was done. I was sweaty, I was nauseous, I was questioning my life choices. You know that feeling where your body is like, we should lie down now, but the instructor is like, no, one more round. Yeah, that. So we get to the very end of the class, and the instructor says something like, all right, last challenge, plank hold, and everyone collectively dies inside. We get into plank position, arms shaking, core engaged, everything hurts, and I'm holding this plank, staring at the floor, trying not to collapse, when suddenly, I feel this urge to pee, but not really. Like, my bladder wasn't full. I didn't actually need to go to the bathroom. It was more like pressure. And then, almost immediately, there was this tingly sensation down there. And my first thought was, oh my God, am I about to pee myself in front of everyone? Which, nightmare. But then I realized that wasn't it, because it didn't feel panic. It didn't feel uncomfortable. It actually felt kind of good, which made it way more confusing. I remember thinking, okay, what is happening to my body right now? Because it felt intense. It felt strange. It felt unfamiliar. And here's a really important part of this story. At that point in my life, I didn't really have orgasms. Like, I didn't know how. I wasn't very sexually experienced. I didn't masturbate much. I didn't really understand my body. So I didn't have this internal reference of, oh, this is what an orgasm feels like. All I knew was that something was happening, and it was definitely not something I had experienced before. So I do what any confused person would do. Mid-plank, mid-suffering, I look over at my best friend. She is also dying. Her arms are shaking, her face is red, and I say very quietly, I think I'm having an orgasm or something? And she looks at me like I have completely lost my mind. She's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand it either. And then, thankfully, the plank ends. We collapse, everyone groans, the moment passes. And that was it. No big finish, no dramatic aftermath, just confusion. And the wild part? That was the only time it has ever happened to me. Just once, a total one-off. But it stayed in my brain because I was like, was that a thing? Did I imagine that? Is that normal? And for years, I didn't really have an answer. I just filed it away as one of those weird body experiences we never talk about. Fast forward to now, I'm studying sex education, I'm reading research papers, I'm learning about anatomy, physiology, pleasure, response cycles, and one day I come across this term, Coregasm, and I literally stopped scrolling. I was like, excuse me? A coregasm, short for Coregasm, is an orgasm or orgasm-like sensation that happens during exercise, most commonly during exercises that heavily engage the core. And when I read that, something clicked so hard. I was like, oh, that's it. That was what happened to me in that HIIT class. Now, here's the interesting part. Coregasms are not necessarily sexual. You don't have to be aroused. You don't have to be thinking about sex. You don't have to be turned on. Your body just responds. In my case, I was not horny. I was not fantasizing. I was not in the mood. I was literally trying not to pass out. But my body, apparently, decided to do its own thing, which is honestly very on brand for the human body. So let's talk about why this happens. Here's the science part, but I promise I'll keep it understandable. Orgasms are not just about genitals. They're about muscle contractions, nerve stimulation, blood flow, and the brain. Your core muscles, your abs, lower back, and especially your pelvic floor are deeply connected. The pelvic floor supports your bladder, bowels, and sexual organs. It plays a huge role in sexual response. When you do intense core exercises, planks, leg raises, crunches, those muscles contract repeatedly. They stay engaged for long periods. Add increased blood flow, add tension, add rhythmic movement, and sometimes your nervous system goes, oh, this feels familiar, and boom, your body accidentally triggers an orgasmic response, not because it's sexual, but because the physical conditions are right. Honestly, it's kind of incredible. And it's not just planks. People have reported coregasms during hanging leg raises, captain's chair exercises, crunches, squats, cycling, rowing, weightlifting, yoga, especially yoga poses like boat pose, plank, chair pose, anything that really forces your core and pelvic floor to work together. Now, who can experience a coregasm? Technically, anyone. All genders, all bodies. But research shows that women report them more often than men, and that's likely because pelvic floor activation plays a big role. Women tend to have stronger or more sensitive pelvic floor responses due to anatomy, hormones, and nerve distribution. That said, men experience them too. They just talk about it less. Which, surprise. Let's talk about the pelvic floor for a second, because it's important. You've probably heard of Kegels, those exercises where you contract and relax the pelvic floor muscles. A lot of people think they're just for women after childbirth. They're not. Men can do them too. They help with bladder control, they help with sexual function. Strengthening your pelvic floor increases body awareness. It makes you more tuned in to internal sensations, which might make experiences like coregasms more noticeable. Now, can you make a coregasm happen on purpose? Not really. You can't force it. You can't plan it. It's not like, okay, abs at 6, coregasm at 6:15. It doesn't work like that. Coregasms are like surprise party guests. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. And when they do, you're kind of just like, oh, hi. And I want to be really clear about something. There's nothing weird or embarrassing about this. Coregasms are normal. They're harmless. They don't mean you're inappropriate. Your body is just responding to stimulation in a unique way. If anything, it's kind of a reminder of how complex and intelligent our bodies are. And honestly, if you've had one, you're kind of lucky. They're rare, they're fascinating, and even though I've only experienced it once, it stuck with me forever because it taught me something really important. Pleasure doesn't only exist in the bedroom. Our bodies are capable of pleasure in unexpected places, unexpected moments, unexpected ways. And talking about things like this, openly, casually, helps break down the shame and silence we've built around our bodies. So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a coregasm? Did it catch you off guard? Did you think something was wrong? Or is this the first time you're hearing about it? Let me know in the comments below. And lastly, if you want to support the growth of this channel, I do have a Patreon linked below. It's where I share more personal stories, extra details, mini vlogs, and a lot of community interaction. No pressure, but if you want to support, I'd love to have you there. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for spending time with me today for this very unexpected, very interesting sex fact of the day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.